4:09. Ajmal Masroor is an Imam and broadcaster. Thank you very much indeed for coming on. I wonder what you make of this man, Mr. Koskin, saying it's an assault on free speech. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tom. It's a very good introduction that you've given. And in fact, you've said most of the things that I would have said. It is not a problem for anyone to criticize Islam. It is not a problem for anyone to attack the Qur'an, the Prophet, God. Obviously, we are all human. We have our own perspectives and our own prejudices, our own intellectual processes. If he has come to a conclusion that he doesn't like the religion, he's welcome to criticize it. But you're absolutely right. If I'm going to be public nuisance, it's like what I say to everyone, and I say this to my own children as they were growing up, as I was giving the example of what is right to do when it comes to your freedom. I have the right to sneeze, but I have no right to sneeze on your face. That's the difference. You can say what you like. Don't come and invade my private space, or don't be a public nuisance. He was swearing and shouting at people, clearly demonstrating hatred, clearly demonstrating abusive language. There was something going on. There was a bee under his bonnet that we could see.
Sure.
Now, and that's the reason why the judge found him guilty, not for criticizing a faith or burning a book.
So I guess we're asking, it's an odd question to ask, Ajmal, but here we are. In what circumstances would we think it heavy-handed for the police to get involved if someone is burning the Qur'an? If someone in their own home, in their back garden, sets fire to the Qur'an, posts it on social media, no caption, no words said, would you think that was their right or their self-expression, perhaps?
Well, if they're doing it privately to get rid of whatever they have at home or whatever they want to express, they're doing it without being a public nuisance. Look, burning any book doesn't really demonstrate you being an intelligent person or you're responding in an intelligent way. A book is a symbol of knowledge. Book is a symbol of civilized world. You don't burn down your expression of intelligence and your civilization. What you do is you write a book countering it. You challenge by writing an article.
Well, maybe, but I want to burn stuff. I've got loads of... You are speaking to us from a beautifully kept series of bookshelves behind you. I can see all those books nicely piled up. If you need to get rid of them and you don't want to take them to the tip and you set fire to them and you burn them in the back garden or whatever, that's your right. If one of those books happens to be the Bible or the Qur'an or whatever, that's not a problem, is it?
No. You can do that if that's what you want. Nobody's going to... That's your private choice. That's what we all enjoy, the freedom to do this. But this particular case demonstrates something else. Even those who are screaming freedom of expression now, actually, it's not freedom of expression. They are expressing something more fundamental. They have a problem with Islam.
Yes.
They have a problem with Muslims. They have a problem with the Quran. Now, if that's what they have, why don't they say that? I have a problem with Islam. Then I can have a discussion with you.
Well, I think he does. I mean, he said Islam is a religion of terror.
Okay, let's address that. Let's discuss that with him. Instead of burning a book, you're terrorizing other people. The very thing that you're condemning a religion of, your behavior is depicting that and worse. It doesn't make you any better. What makes you better is if you can engage.
It doesn't make you any better than a terrorist to burn a copy of the Quran.
I'm saying if you're saying Islam is a religion of terror and you're burning the very book that you're saying it inspires terror, you're terrorizing people by burning or by the act of burning. What would be good is for you to actually say, this is the reason why I don't believe, or this is the reason why I believe, etc. I am here as a Muslim to say, no, Quran is a book of inspiration. It's given rise to civilizations. It's given rise to the greatest scientists, the philosophers of the world. Now, if a person doesn't believe that, they're entitled to their belief. I have no problem with that particular disagreement. What I have a problem with is if somebody was to come and cause public disorder in the name of freedom. It's not freedom, it's just being silly.
Would you tell a child in this country that they shouldn't draw a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad?
I would tell a child not to insult, mock, or deride, or ridicule their neighbors, their friends, and people that they love. I would tell that child. I'll teach the child to be respectful of people of different faith, or no faith for that matter. I'm coming to your question. So part and parcel of me teaching my children how to be respectful is to say, if your neighbor believes in a particular religion, don't go and insult that religion. If you disagree with that religion, go and express your disagreement in a civilized manner. If 2 billion people of the Muslim world believe that there should be no depiction of the Prophet, out of respect, mercy and kindness and neighborliness, I wouldn't draw. Why would I draw?
Okay, that's... I've asked the wrong question, Ajmal. The better question is not whether they shouldn't, because that's, I guess, as you point out rightly, that's up to them and their worries about not offending people. would you tell a child in this country that they can't draw a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad?
As a Muslim, when I'm teaching my Muslim kids or my Muslim students, yes, because that's my religious teaching.
Yeah.
I can't change that. But I can't say that to a non-Muslim. They can do what they want. They're not part of the faith. That's the difference. Once I've subscribed to a faith, I will teach that faith to those who want to listen to it. If you don't want to listen to it, you're welcome to. There is a verse in the Qur'an, which is very beautiful. God says, and we have shown you the path. You may accept it and be grateful, or you may reject it. It's up to you.
Yeah.
If God has given you and I that freedom to accept or reject God, who am I to impose it?
I guess the issue is, Ajmal, that there have been incidents where, for example, the case in near Leeds, where that teacher showed his class a picture of the Prophet Muhammad as part of a religious studies lesson. That teacher, for as far as we can understand it, is still in hiding. There were protests outside the school. There was horrendous threats of violence. That there does seem to be. Well, unfortunately, we've seen it borne out in Paris, in France, at Charlie Hebdo, and those kinds of events, Salman Rushdie too. There does seem to be violent retribution in some cases from awful people for these kinds of actions.
And I can't be answering on behalf of those.
No,
awful
of course,
people.
I'm not asking you to.
I said in one of your interviews, not with you, but on LBC, that I'll be very happy to go and defend this teacher and protect his life because he doesn't need to go in hiding. What we are saying is, let's create a consistent, fairer world in which we can all have a discussion and debate. So if the teacher wants to teach children about other faiths and religions, he is welcome to. If children want to engage and disengage in that conversation, as long as they're not breaking the law and they're not going against the policies of the school, they're welcome to. We are living in a very pluralistic world. Where we are actually finding the difference is when it comes to politicizing of various issues. An example, the truth is, France is a terrible example of what freedom truly is. You can't wear a headscarf and be a Muslim woman in the public space, but you can go out there naked, not a problem. French double standard has created this intellectual problem that we are facing today. We need to be consistent. We're saying freedom for all people in a pluralistic society. If you don't want to follow a religion, that's okay. If you're in a mock Islam, not a problem. If you want to deride, insult, that's not an issue. But don't be inconsistent about it. When it comes to Muslims and Islam, give them the same right, give them the same value and worth that you would give to others, Christians, Jews, people of faith and no faith. When there is inconsistency, we see a reaction. And reaction, unfortunately, is often irrational. And that's what we're trying to condemn.